Crypto keeps falling lower. Is it over now? Investors are panicking. Let's see what the charts are telling us and find a rational outlook for the week. Let's go. So welcome guys. We look at BTC here, and as we talked about last week, this was a pivot low. We lost it. Now we sit at this demand and we lost another internal low here. So market structure ever since here basically is turning bearish on the daily, and we confirmed it with another break lower. We also talked about BVol 24, and I said we will only see volatility once we come back to this. We saw a drop into this level on Saturday. We saw a rip from this level on Sunday. So Sunday created this move for us. You need to be aware that Sundays are low volume because major exchanges have closed. The traffic exchanges like CME and many like professional traders are on holiday or on weekend. So who is this move made for or against? Who is this move? And it's pretty simple answer. It's retail. And why is it retail? Because retail has usually free on Sunday. Retail has time. You spend time in front of your screen. You think like, okay, good. I'm gonna learn something new about crypto today or about the market, and I'm trading. And so those scary weekends, or even also bullish weekends, they're often targeting retail because retail is like the dump money mainly, and whales offload or scare or manipulate those people. And it works especially well if those people have time to look at the charts, time to worry. Because if you think about it, if you're in work and if you spend your time doing something else, time goes by, you look at the chart and you think, oh, another red day, okay, good, but I don't have the time to worry. I'm just gonna do my day. And if you have weekend, or if you have time, and if you have time to open your chart like 150 times a day, this emotion will be much stronger. So looking at ETH, we're also back at the range low. And what this means is not that we necessarily need to go back lower to 70K or even way lower from here. It's just a sign that internally we're breaking down. We might just target this, which we're doing right now, or we even target this low. We maybe even sweep it. And it's not about knowing for sure what's happening. Next, it's knowing how can we trade around this. And for example, this could happen, right? We could also see something like this happening here. So something like that. Or we just simply smash that level and we continue lower. So there are many possibilities. And for me, it's not about knowing or like pretending that I can tell you what's happening next. For me, it's like I'm going to manage my risk around those key levels. And on BTC, it's kind of clear and obvious. And if we then look at Tether dominance, for example, we are back at the range high and we could reject from here. We talked about this last week, also in USDC. We will have a look at that pretty soon. And we could sweep this and then continue lower. We could also simply continue lower from here, even though we also make internal higher highs here. But externally, we're still in a downtrend, on the daily at least. The weekly shows a different picture. Or we simply continue higher to the next level. There is no guarantee. There's no guarantee for nothing. So look at this. On the weekly, we haven't even broken structure to the downside. Yes, we broke the trend line and we talked about this trend line. And I said this could be the first early confirmation that we are about to head lower, but it could also simply mean nothing. And as long as we haven't taken this low here, this range low, it basically means nothing. We haven't broken market structure. The horizontals are not broken. And so technically it's a downtrend. Zooming more out, it's a uptrend. It's a downtrend, and we are right now in an uptrend. But we're also in this external range here, and we are at the range high. So it makes sense to be bearish on this chart at the range high. And time will tell if this was the right choice or not. We also left a weekly breaker block behind, which is also not the most bearish sign for this chart. But as said, we have clear key levels, and we are at one again at this internal range high here. at the external range high. And so not being not too bearish makes still sense from this perspective. But we could also sweep this and we could also go higher. So keep that in mind. And if you look at USDC, the picture is actually a little bit clearer because the downtrend was stronger. So we closed several candles below this low. So this is a confirmed downtrend here. We are also at the external range high and we have broken this down. And if you look at the weekly, we have even broken this down on the weekly. Even though it's not a strong candle and we have this like big absorption wig at the lows and also on this candle. So this could also be like just a little fake down more or less on this chart. And now we filled the FYG. So again, we are in a bearish trend here. We're just filling those gaps. And on USDCD, we have not even taken this high. So technically we made a higher high here, but we have not confirmed it. Like USDT is telling us a lot more bullishness here in this chart, while USDC is still signaling weakness. So we have this divergence. The question is which one is lying and which one is telling the truth. And I'd say it doesn't really matter because we have our key level. We can trade around this. And that's why I'm still long Doge here. And that's why I'm still long short BTC. And if we sweep this and if order flow gives me a sign, I might even want to add a long on BTC here, depending on what happens once we do this or if we do this. And Doge still looking okay. We could also sweep this low, stop me and then go higher. But I'd say it's still a reasonable trade to have right now, looking at those two. So I'm still mid to high time frame bullish crypto. So I still think that we probably go for these mid ranges, and I'm still higher time frame bearish on crypto. So I think after this counter trend bounce here, after we see something like this, maybe into 100K or even from here, I don't want to give a false impression that only those three things can happen. So if we take this 0.5, this 100K level, I think after that we're gonna roll over. We're gonna continue our downtrend from there on. This is my base case. And so looking also maybe interesting for some of you, because I talked about this before, but it's a while ago and I don't know if everybody has seen this. If you look at this area here, right? So look at what happened. We nuked into January, so it's monthly wise not perfect, but it was more or less the beginning of the bear market. Technically, this is our major higher time frame structure, and we haven't really broken it. And from this point on, we only continued to make higher highs and higher lows, only then to go in the most aggressive phase of the bear market, completely nuking like the biggest reddest days, big liquidation events. And if you compare this, and it's also Q1, you see February, March into April, early April. And if you look at this, we haven't really broken the key low. So higher time frame wise, we are still in an uptrend. So many people will see this and say, okay, good, the downtrend isn't confirmed yet. And since then we made only higher highs and higher lows. So let's see if this continues, maybe into March, April, we hit this. And it's a very slow like movement here compared to these moves up and down here. This was aggressive. This is nice for swing trading. But then here you either trade the range or you're very patient. And maybe we do exactly this little exit pump here to attract more buyers in this top range before then rolling over because whales offloaded their bags. This is my base case. And however we're gonna form this, it's valid to me until we really break this down, really break the slow down and confirm a breakdown and also a breakdown here, because then this whole thesis, it played kind of similar, but we didn't really like pump as aggressive. I mean, we did a 20% pump, could be a bit more, but it could also be it. And maybe that's it for this time. And also consider that we hit this level way earlier. So we had the sell-off into November, and here we had the sell-off into January. And so if you measure this time, it's not about like to the precise day, but you see it's 66 days. And it's about how long the whales need to offload their bags. And it could be it. So maybe this little counter trend bounce is over now and we continue lower. It's not going to take 100K again. Maybe too many people were waiting for that and it's not going to happen. And either way, I have the short, I have the long, I have the crypto related stocks here. And if the thesis is right, my main thesis, I'm gonna make some money. If I'm wrong, I pay some stops, which is then covered by this short. Also a quick look at the SPX because it's also important, the whole stock market. We had a lot of like turbulences last week with Trump and Greenland and all that stuff. We had the sell-off, we have the breakdown, we have an internal break of structure, we filled the gap. I used the gap to add tight. I still got the wide one, I got the tight one now. It's also a hedge for a potential bigger bear market. Time will tell. And that's it for today's update. I hope you guys have a great week. Enjoy your time, stay flexible, look at market structure, don't get manipulated by macro news and noise. Bye guys.